Hello, in today's session, we're going to go over TownSq, your all-in-one portal as a unit owner or a board member to communicate, to get information about the association, communicate to the management, and also just get your documents along with many, many other things. In today's session, we're going to use a demonstration account, or a demonstration association, I should say. And the purpose of that is to show you all the facets of TownSq as best as can be shown to you in this informal session. But at the same time, the account that you have for your association will look unbelievably similar, but might be a little bit different. The same setup is for every association, but some access points might be a little bit different. Please do understand that when dealing with TownSq, the board of directors for your association does have access to everything inside of TownSq, but due to some privacy concerns, unit owners will not be able to have access to everything, but you will have, as a unit owner, access to the information that is specific to your unit. TownSq in general is a closed system, meaning only unit owners are allowed into the system, I should say. All unit owners and board members do have access into TownSq through a separate login ID and a password which is encrypted and can be changed by you, the unit owner, or the board member at any time. To start, what we'll be dealing with today during this presentation is the TownSq website. www.townsq.io. That TownSq website looks very, very similar to what you see right here. You could see your username or email will be put right into this box. This default information is my information as well. This is where you put your password in. Once that's all set up, along with your username, you also could log in with Facebook if you choose. But here's up on top here is the actual website. TownSq.io /login will get you right to this page. What you will also need during the session is the first page of your Associa Gulf Coast welcome packet. This was sent to all the unit owners during the transition phase from your previous agent to Associa Gulf Coast. That page looks very similar to this. This is just a sample. Please do excuse my poor handwriting, if you will. But the purpose of this entire piece, if you will, is you're looking for the information on this front page in the circle. That is your account number, and it's shown up as your account ID. And this is a hyperlink to the TownSq sign-up page for your account. So again, you will need this first page when we get into the session. Other things that we're going to learn today are you're going to learn how to do your personal profile. You're also going to learn how to edit that profile. You'll also be able to go over the home page, what you'll see from time to time. Every time you log in to TownSq, we're going to go over some groups and how those groups are not only created, but who could be assigned into a group, news and events, any announcements that you might have, any events that are going on for your association, requests and work orders. If you have a work order that the association is responsible for that needs to be addressed, this could be a landscaping issue. It could be a suggestion about security. It could be a bunch of different things. Those will be available through the request tab. I put work orders on this mostly because work orders are the most typical, if you will. Messages, those are messages for the general association. You also have a forum section. That forum is, think of it as almost like a classified ad where you can talk to each other as well. There's also a poll opportunity for your association where the board could engage you, the unit owner, on ideas or something that might be coming up for the association that they want some unit owner feedback. If your association does have amenities that would require reservations, an example with that might be your clubhouse meeting room. It might be a tennis court, might be a pickleball court, or even the basketball court. Those are amenities that could be reserved through TownSq you can make reservations, and that would include if there's a fee for those reservations as well. A very, very important piece of TownSq is the Documents tab. That's going to house all of the association documents that need to be available, both on a day-to-day basis, but also from the legal perspective, what is required to be posted and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll also talk assignments. Assignments for TownSq is a running task list, if you will, for the board and management regarding, quite frankly, what's being done on behalf of the association by Associa Gulf Coast. And then there's also a reports tab. We're going to show you that during this session so that you can see what the board has access to in terms of information that's available to them. So going back, we're going to be starting here with that sample of the front page of the welcome packet. Again, please do keep this out for your viewing because you're going to need this. The key part of this is your account number on the front. If for whatever reason you do not have this in your possession, please do contact Associa Gulf Coast or contact the board directly. That way it can be emailed to you and you'll have all this information. Please do keep in mind that once your account is set up and you have opted into the system, you will be able to change your password. But also please understand that once you change your password, you, the unit owner or the board member, you're the only one that will know what your password is. The association managing agent, whomever your manager is, will not be able to change that password or even find the password for you. To do that, you will have to contact the information technology or the IT department for Associa Gulf Coast and TownSq because again, there's privacy concerns regarding your personal information and your manager will not have any access to that information. So that being said, let's get going here. We're going here right to the home page of TownSq. Again, this is your welcome screen to TownSq. And for this purpose, we're not going to be able to log in right now. What I mean by that is, if this is the very first time you're seeing this screen and you've got your welcome packet, again, that's the front page, the first thing you will have to do before you get into TownSq is register your information. Think of this as opting in to TownSq so you can receive information and communicate with unit owners and board members. To do that, you do need to go down to the bottom here, and you can see where my cursor is. I'm circling it right here. It's called Need to Register. This little button right here that you can see where the hand shows up, if I go ahead and click this, I go to a new page. Here's the welcome page because we're going to register this. And before you can register, we need to identify your account. Please enter your account number and zip code. Well, where are you going to find that? Remember, we got to go to the welcome packet to find the account number. So if you just, and again, this is just a sample, but your welcome packet will have your account ID right there. So go ahead and remember that account ID number. When you go to this page in the register screen, you're going to enter your account number right here. And it's going to be, I'm just going to put this as a fake, but it's going to be 123 just for fun, 456. And the zip code, let's just say, is 123456 as well. Now these are all fake. None of this is real for any stretch of the imagination, but I'm going to put in my name as Paul and my last name is Petroulis. Now what you can see here is I had to fill in all this information for this continue button to become active. If you don't fill in the information, it's not going to be available to you, but here's what's going to happen. None of this is real, so when I hit continue, as it thinks, nothing should be happening. It's trying to find me as this account number and this zip code, but none of that stuff is actually real. The reason I'm telling you this is because you have to have your account number and fill in all this information. So, in this case, we've already got our welcome packet, we've got the account number, we've gone in and we've registered, and now we are being seen. So it's our username or our email. For you, a unit owner or a board member, totally up to you. You can use your email or your username if you want to create one. It's completely up to you. And then you set up your password. No problem at all. Very, very simple. Once you've got that information, you click log in. Okay, so we've logged into the system and we come to your home screen. This is once you, the unit owner or the board member, once you've logged in, everybody's going to see the same screen. This is going to look very, very similar to everybody. This inbox that you see up front, that's going to be everything that you have that's open, that's specific to you as an individual unit owner. But right now, we're not going to work on that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go up into this corner here, the upper right-hand corner where you can see where the hand is. And you can see my name. Again, my name is Paul Petroulis, the Business Development Director here with Associa Gulf Coast. And you can see the TownSq demonstration. That is the name of the account that we're working on. If you have an account with Happy Valley Homeowners Association, instead of saying TownSq demonstration, it will say Happy Valley Homeowners Association. But the real key to this is I want you to go to this pull down arrow right here and just click on that arrow, and you're going to see edit your profile, change your community in the event that you had an account in two separate communities, or you can log out altogether, completely up to you. Those are your three options: edit profile, change community, or log out. For what we want to do here for this tutorial is we want to edit the profile. So go ahead and click into the edit the profile. Now this is going to come into your basic information. You're going to be able to change and update these things as we go. You could, if you chose, you could change your profile. If you wanted to have a picture added to the system, you could do that if you wanted. Just any profile picture that you wanted. You could put your dog, you could put your face. It's kind of up to you. Please do remember, for all things regarding TownSq, profanity and those types of items will not be tolerated, and you might have the opportunity to lose your privilege in the event that you are using, let's just say, colorful language that might not be suitable for everyone. While we all believe that that might go without saying, that is literally why I'm saying that, because in the event that the board deems whatever postings are improper, they might be able to take them down. I say might because the association managing agent does not have the free-for-all to just remove these items. The board will need to be involved as well. But as you see, here's your basic information. You can change your profile picture. Here's my name as the first name. My name is Paul. My last name is Petroulis. Here are two phone numbers that I've got. One is my office line. The other is my cell number. I could add more if I chose to. There's no need to. But down here, here's my email address and my password that you could change at any given time. But really what I want to talk about here on your profile is how often you, the unit owner, or you, the board member, want to be alerted as to what's going on in your association. This is what you choose. This has nothing to do with the managing agent. It has nothing to do with the board. When your account is set up, this is where you go to change how frequently you receive your information. So the options here are do not receive, individual, daily digest, and weekly digest under the sections of new messages. So you as the unit owner or the board member sending a message into the system. The message response. So once you sent the message in, what the message response is from the manager. If you put in a work order, a new service request, and those request responses. Now by default, you'll see these 9 options down here: news and events, canceled reservations, poll notifications, architectural reviews, assignment updates, reservation confirmation, TownSq newsletters, and request updates. These all are defaulted into the on position, but if I just click into this little slider, it just goes to the left and it turns it off. What that means is, from a news and events perspective, because I turned it off, my personal account, I'm not going to get the alerts of any news and events that are happening for the association. I'm not going to know until I actually log into the system. By leaving this clicked on, if any news and event is posted by the managing agent or the board in this example, you will get an alert by email that there's a new news or there's a new event that's been posted. Same thing if there was a poll. If there's architectural review information that any architectural review information that is specific to you as a unit owner, that's going to be sitting right there. Any reservations or newsletters, those types of things. And they're very simple. You can click them on, click them off. Very easy. Again, this is your choice, not your manager. If you're getting too much information or too often, you have the ability to change that frequency. How do you change the frequency? Well, remember, you have the option. You could not receive any of this stuff at all. And the only time you'll see this information is when you actually log into TownSq. That's do not receive at all. The other one is individual. What that means, and this is all really depending on if you're a board member, the size of your association, every single time something happens inside of TownSq, a message, a response from the manager, a work order, those responses, any reservations, all that stuff, if you will, you're going to get an alert very similar to like your phone going off for a text. If you've clicked individual, every single time something's going on in TownSq. Now, I say that from the perspective of the board. You, as a unit owner, if you click individual here, you will get an alert every time something that is specific to your unit or the association as a whole. You will get an alert every single time it happens. You will not get any information for your neighbor because you are only going to get information specific to you or the association as a whole. That's the individual choice. If you choose Daily Digest, if for whatever reason the individual choice over here, this selection is giving you too much or too frequent alerts, you can change to Daily Digest. A Daily Digest is just that. It's one time, typically between 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will get an alert. Simple email saying, hey, to a certain extent, this is what happened today in TownSq for your association. If you feel that even that's too frequent, you can choose Weekly Digest, and that is exactly what it means. Typically between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. on Fridays, Eastern Standard Time, you will get a one-time weekly update as to what happened for the association. That's specific to you. Now, that does not mean you're going to get information for your neighbor. It does mean you will get information specific to your account and also for the association as a whole. That are your choices. Again, do not receive individual times. Every single time anything happens that's specific to you or the association as a whole, you're going to get an individual alert. If you are a board member and you have this set as individual, every single time anything happens inside of TownSq, you will get an alert. Depending on the size of your association, that could be overwhelming very, very quickly. If you have, just as an example, 500 units in your association, and even if 10% of people put something into TownSq every single day, that's going to be 50 alerts every single day. That might become overwhelming. Again, Daily Digest is another option where you're going to get something between 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll get something as an alert, this is what happened today, and then weekly between 5 and 7 or 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time every Friday as to what happened for the week. So that's the preference page. This is how to turn on and off these alerts that you're going to get. Just literally click on these and the toggle will slide back and forth. But now you can see down here the privacy pieces. Now, you as the unit owner, everything is a default for just to show your physical address. The default is not show your telephone number or show your email. And when I say show, I mean show to the public. Public meaning your closed group, your association. If you are not an owner for your association and you have not logged in to TownSq, nobody else is going to see this information. This is not public facing to the world through the internet. This is not like Nextdoor. This is not open like Facebook. TownSq is a closed community just for your association. So it will default to show your physical address, your unit, if you will, as who lives there, quite frankly. You as a person, as an individual, have the ability to alert, I want people to see my telephone number or my email in this example. And again, all you have to do is click them back and forth. Now, how quickly does this update? Well, if I change one of these, I'm just going to want to show my telephone number, and I click save right here. That was it. About 5 seconds elapsed before it says my information has been successfully updated. Literally just 5 seconds. You as the unit owner or the board member, really it's the account holder here, are going to be able to change these as frequently as you want. I'm going to turn off my telephone number. Again, this is just a demonstrator account, so it really doesn't matter. But I'm going to save it again. So I made that one change, and here it should come. Oh, there it is. About 5 seconds later, the information was successfully updated. So by and large, that is your profile page. Remember, when you initially log in, and I just click the home right up here, when you initially log in, this screen, as the internet picks everything up, this is what your welcome screen is going to look like. But coming up here, this will be your name, your account, your association name, I should say. And remember, if you want to change any of that, just click on that pull down arrow and hit edit the profile. Very, very simple. So going back to the home screen, this is again that login page. Now this will look a little bit different because this is a demonstrator account. Because this is a demonstrator account, I have no methodology to show you how to pay your maintenance fees or pay a fine, if you will, or even pay for a reservation with an amenity, because just the demonstration account does not have the ability to show that. If this was a real account, on the front page, there's going to be a box right around here that will show you, gives you the option, pay my bill. You can do it by credit card, you can do it by bank draft. There are multiple different ways. Unfortunately for this tutorial, I have no opportunity to do that because there's no bank, right? This is not an account. This is just a fake account that we're just showing for sample purposes. But this being the main screen, this ribbon, this up and down column right here, the My Community ribbon, this is, for lack of a better phrase, your tracking mechanism. This is a timeline of what's going on for the association. And you can scroll this. So if you've ever wondered when the board meeting minutes were posted, if there was a new event, what's in this example, the trick-or-treating schedule, because this was done in October of 2020, you could just scroll down here and find out what had happened. In this case, in August, they closed the pool for the fake account. There was a poll or a survey that was posted in July. So you can just kind of go back and forth as to what did happen. In this example, on November 2nd, a new announcement had been added that a board meeting was scheduled for Thursday, November 6th at 7 p.m. That's going to be sitting in your community tab, or your community column, I should say, all the time. They're not going to be removed for really any reason. So I will use this board meeting news and events. This will get tied into the actual news and events tab when we get there. We're not going to get there right now, but this will all begin to match together here shortly. So again, this is your home screen. This is your My Community ribbon. Again, think of that as a timeline, a scrolling mechanism, and if everything's in there, it will just continue on going. Your inbox here up front is the items that are specific to you. In this case, I've got a message and 2 requests that are still open for the system. They're done on purpose. They're all fake, but they're done on purpose to give you an idea of what it looks like. That is the home page. From the Residents tab, for this demonstrating account is going to show who lives here. These are the residents that have opted in to this association. And in this case, my daughter is a crazy Disney fan, so we have Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse and Goofy the dog and Minnie Mouse. Those are our 4 residents. They're all 123 Maple Drive, right? And Lot 2 and Lot 4 and Lot 4 again. So Goofy and Minnie live in the same place, but then Mickey over here lives in Lot 10. But you can see that they also have little acknowledgments. The social group up. Donald Duck is a board member. Minnie Mouse is on the landscape committee. Goofy the dog is in the finding committee. So if you look on your resident tab, you'll be able to see who has opted into the system. So meaning who has told everybody inside of Town Square, I want people to know I'm here. And if they're tagged properly in the group section, you'll be able to know who's on the board, who's on the landscaping committee, who's on the finding committee, those types of things. These are your acknowledgments of the groups, and I'm going to get there in just a second. You also could choose to find, let's just say, Daffy Duck. Let's say that there's somebody here, and Daffy Duck, does Daffy Duck exist? And the answer is no, Daffy does not, because our search for Daffy Duck did not return any results. No problem at all. We'll go back to Mickey Mouse. There we go. So that's the residents. If you're looking for a specific person and you know their first and last name, you are absolutely welcome to put that name in the system to find that neighbor. So we've done the home screen, and here's the 4 unit owners. In this case, Donald, Mickey, Goofy, and Minnie. That's the residents. If you have 500 unit owners and 200 people or 200 owners have gotten into the system, you'll see 200 residents. If nobody has signed into the system for a specific unit, you're not going to see it because this is an opt-in system. Going into the Groups tab, now here is where we create a group, but it's also to show you who are in these groups. So in this example, we have a manager group, a board member group, a concierge group, tenants, family member groups, owners, landscaping committee, fining committee, and a social group. Remember, if we went into residence, just going back here, remember these little tags. Landscape committee, fining committee, board member, okay? Just to use that as the example, the groups. If I go into board member, it shows I've got 2 members here. If I actually click into this, as it thinks right here, that's the little symbol that it's thinking, this is now how you know who's on the board. So in this example, it's Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. If you had a landscape committee, again, we have 2 members in the landscape committee, and we click on landscape committee, as it thinks, Mickey and Minnie are your landscape committee. But let's just say there's a group that you want to create. And in this case, a typical group might be a men's golf group. Well, you might ask yourself, how do you create a group? Well, it's literally this simple. This big button that says create group, let's just go ahead and click that. And we're going to call this the men's golf group. The description is men's golf. Now we're going to pick a color here. Now it doesn't matter. You have the choice to pick this. You can pick an icon here. In this case, since this is an athletic piece, we'll use the handshake just as a piece. Now, so we've called it the men's group, the men's golf group, and we picked this color. This is our little icon. Should this show up on the profile? The answer is yes, as long as you put people into the group. Should it show up on the resident list? Absolutely. That was that resident list that we saw, and it requires an associated unit. In this example, for all that we're doing here, everything will require an associated unit. You cannot have anybody that is outside of an ownership group to be inside of TownSq in this example. So we'll leave these all toggled on, click save. That's not something that you're ever going to be using and seeing. That's really for the manager. But remember, we just created that group. I hit save, right? That took all of about 10 seconds. Well, what did we call it? I think we called it the men's golf group right here. So going back, when we created the group, that's how quickly the men's golf group was created. The manager will be able to add people and subtract people from the group. You as the unit owner just need to tell the manager, hey, can you put me in that men's golf group? Or if the committees will all have been established, in this case landscape or fining or even a social group. Those will have already been established. The manager will control that and then add those committee members as they are created. So now going into news and events. Again, we've gone over the home screen, the resident group, or resident tab, the group tab, and now we're into news and events. Well, news and events is just that. We're talking, this is the announcement of information that unit owners need, the stuff that you need to know about what's going on in the association. So the samples here, there's a board meeting. Remember, we showed you, if I go back to the home screen, in the My Community tab, if you remember, it should be right about here, I believe, as it learns. There we are. Here's that news and events. A new announcement has been added. The board meeting has been scheduled. Well, if I go actually into news and events, here it is. That board meeting was scheduled. Now, you can see that it's pinned right here. What that means is that it is always going to be up on top until the administrator, in this case your manager, removes that or unpins it. Once it's unpinned, it will just filter down into the rest of these, and it will just be a recent one. All the news and announcements that are posted into TownSq will not be removed. It will all be sitting there effectively forever. And the reason for that is there's an accountability piece. If you are a unit owner and you say, you know, I haven't seen an announcement for a board meeting in 3 years, and again, just making that up, but using the system, you can go into it and find out when these notices have been posted. In this example, on November 2nd, 2020 at 7:06 p.m., this was posted. So Per the Florida statute, we've covered the bases regarding the proper notice provision, more than 48 hours. But if I just click into it like I did, this is the actual notice that's going to pop up. Now, one piece of this equation that's critical here is that if the association, and please do understand this is a fake account, but the notice was Happy Valley HOA board meeting was held at the clubhouse starting at 7 p.m. on Thursday. Robert's Rules of Order will be followed and the unit owners are encouraged to attend. If the board and the manager wanted to put the agenda on this announcement, they absolutely could. It would be no problem at all. If the manager wanted to do that, it'd be literally just point and click to add any document to an announcement. You'll notice here that by having this, what looks like little mailbox open, what that means, or available to you, that means you haven't seen it, you haven't clicked into it yet. In this example, I'm going to go ahead and click into the trick-or-treating schedule. Notice that this little envelope is still here, but if I click into the trick-or-treating schedule, now I see that trick-or-treating schedule is from 4 to 8 p.m. on Halloween. There's no attachment here, no problem at all, but once I click out of it, see what happens? That's gone. It's now, that little envelope is gone. That's alerting you that you've read over time all of these alerts. In this sample account, I've read them all, so no problem at all. But how do we create an announcement? Well, just very, very simple. Big button, if I click create announcement, the title is board meeting. Schedule board meeting alert. And the description is board meeting for December 5th, 2020 will be held via Zoom. During this recording, unfortunately, we are still in the COVID-19 pandemic scenario, so board meetings are being held via Zoom or GoToMeeting. So in this example, it's login information is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, these are just samples. Again, we pick a color, doesn't matter what the color is. I'm going to use a little bullhorn as an icon. Here's where on the announcement side, if I wanted to put the agenda, if I wanted to put a picture, if I wanted to put something as an attachment, I could drag and drop, or I could pick a file through that, no problem at all. If I want to notify the residents, I'm going to turn this one on, visible to specific groups. If I actually do have these as specific groups and I turn this on, it only will allow me specific groups. I'd have to click them all. But this is a global alert for a board meeting, so I'm going to turn that off. And if I wanted to delay this announcement, let's say I wanted to wait till tomorrow, but I'm going to be gone tomorrow for fun, I could click onto this and I could pick the date. In this case, I don't want to do that, but I'm going to create this. Now, let's see how long it actually takes to create this announcement. Remember, this is the board meeting alert for December 5th. I see that the announcement was successfully created, and here it is, right here, board meeting alert. Remember, this little envelope means I have not read this yet. But if you've noticed something, this one's not pinned. Remember, the difference here, pinning versus not pinning. Pinning means it's always going to be on top. But I'm the manager for this fake association, and I don't want this one up top. I'm going to unpin this, and now there aren't any pinned, which is fine. Completely understandable, no problem at all. But this last one, the board meeting one that we just created, I do want to pin that one. So if I click pin here, there it is. It's always going to be up on top. It's never going to go away until the manager unpins that. So that's how you deal with an announcement. That's how simple they are to be created. In this example, we've got a pool closure, compliance inspection, trick-or-treating, and then the 2 board meeting alerts. You also have the ability for the board and the association if you're going to host an event. So if I click into the events tab, you will see the November calendar. Now, this association, this fake association, had 2 things happening in the month of November. One was an election watch party, because in 2020 there was an election. And there's also a Thanksgiving potluck dinner. If there were too many listed and you wanted to know a specific day with something going on that specific day, you're looking for these little dots. right there where you can kind of see that right there, and this one up here on the 3rd. You could just click in and go, hey, what's going on the 26th? And as I click in, it's only going to show you that day. If I go into a day that has no dot, nothing's happening. But if I go into a date with a dot, see, I got nothing. I can't do anything here. But if I check that dot or click into that dot, I got something. No problem at all. So in this example, that was happening for the month of November. But if I go into December, I got nothing, right? So in this example, let's say the association is going to do Christmas caroling on the 19th. Okay? Well, how would I, get ready for it, create an event? I got two choices. I can click this create button or this create button. So if I click on this and I give the date of December 19th is what we picked, and the dates are going to be, we're going to say 12 o'clock. And we're going to pick PM, and it's going to be Christmas caroling. Well, let's say holiday caroling. We'll just call this the holiday sing-along. The description is join your fellow neighbors at the clubhouse to sing holiday songs. Again, pick a color. Doesn't really matter what it is. It's totally up to you. If it's a committee, the committee could have a specific color if they want. We'll do the little bullhorn because it's an announcement. Again, we could have an attachment. We're going to notify all the residents there. We're just going to blast this out now, and then we're going to go ahead and create it. Same scenario here. How long did this create? How long did it take for an event? Well, that was all of about 10 seconds. There's the December 19th holiday sing-along at noon on that day. Remember, nothing else is happening on any of these days until you find that dot. And in this case, it's the 19th, and there it is. If the office is closed, you could create another event that says office closed for Christmas. The management office will be closed on Christmas. That one, we're going to call this another bullhorn, notify the residents. So we've got the office there. We got to pick the date. Well, where's Christmas? Christmas is Friday. We're going to call this 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. We picked an icon, and we're going to create. Let's see what goes. That took all of about 10 seconds, and now you can see that other dot. But you can't see it up here in the list because remember, we've already clicked into December 19th, so the only thing that's going to be showing is December 19th. If I go into the 25th, the office is closed for Christmas. Very simple. If I take that out, those are the two alerts for the month of December. So those are your events. I'm showing you how to create an event. Here's your announcements. Again, this is that constant list, that tracking mechanism of what management or the board wants to alert everybody about what's going on in the association, your association. So we've done the home screen, or home tab, the residence tab, the groups tab. We've just done the news and events. So let's get into requests. Now you might ask, what is a request? Well, a request could be an architectural application, could be an architectural review, could be a general request. Maybe you're making a suggestion, or you just got an observation you want somebody to be aware of. Maybe there was an incident. Maybe you saw a fight. Maybe you saw somebody break a chair at the pool. Again, just making these things up. You also might have a maintenance request. Think of that as a work order. If you have an idea, a maintenance request and a work order could be considered the same thing. Maybe there's a security issue that you want the board to be aware of, or you just want to make a suggestion. Those are the categories. But don't worry about that part. We're going to actually create one. So a typical one that might happen would, let's say there's a street light at the corner of Main and First Avenue that's out, and we want management and the board to know. So how would we open a request? Well, remember, look for the big button that says Open Request. So if I click into this, the title of this is going to be Streetlight Out at Main and First. The category, this is going to be, I'm going to call this a maintenance issue. And the description is, maybe in this example, you've taken a picture of it on your phone, and it's just, the description is northeast corner of Main and First, streetlight is out. In the name of, we're going to call this Mickey Mouse. It's going to try and find Mickey Mouse, which it does, because again, that's an owner. So yay, Mickey Mouse. We're not going to worry about the assignee. The assignee would be set to the, that's a management piece, where we're going to say who do we want to respond to that. And if you took a picture of that streetlight, you could attach it right here. I'm going to open this request by clicking Open Request. And there you go. In about 5 seconds, here it came. Here's the first one. Streetlight out at Main and First. Now, if you're the one that actually submitted that information, obviously it's going to show up in your unit. The board will see everything. So all the requests, all the action items, all the maintenance ones, all the security, all that stuff that you do in TownSq, the board will see it all. But in this example, the only person that's going to see this is the manager. So remember, here's your little envelope that says this hasn't been looked at yet. So I'm going to go ahead as the manager. So Mickey Mouse submitted this. I'm going to go ahead and click into it. I'm the manager for this example. And then one key valuable piece of TownSq is that this becomes a tracking mechanism. If you have ever had a management agent where you submitted a work order and for whatever reason you never got a response, or it took you think it took them 4 months to respond, or something to that effect. Naturally, I'm exaggerating, but I'm doing it on purpose. TownSq, when utilized properly, can show not only when you submitted that request, but also when the manager responds to it. So in this example, Mickey Mouse put in that the streetlight was out at Main and First. Now I'm the manager in this example, and I'm going to come back in and I'm going to put a comment in. Thank you. The utility company has been notified. And I'm going to hit send. Now, when I hit send as the manager, guess what's going to happen? It's going to show up right there. It's going to show up as a comment. So here it came at 8:13 in the evening. It showed up as the request. And then just a few seconds ago, it popped up as the comment. So if you're a board member, you're going to see two things. You're going to see the first one where the streetlight was out at Main and First. Then you're going to see the comment by the manager. If you're the unit owner, you'll see the same thing, right? This is the one that you put in, and then here comes the response from the manager. I'm the manager here, so I'm going to change this to now it's in process. Think of that as a status update as to what's going on. And then again, here it shows up, what did I do? I requested, this request was changed to in process. Then if I go and 2 days later it's fixed, and just for the sake of this example, we're going to say 2 days have passed, and streetlight has been repaired. Per utility company. And I hit send. Again, this is the manager alerting you that the streetlight has now been repaired. Once that's done, I can click closed. And now that task is completed. It's done, it's finished. Now again, I condensed this for time, but I wanted to show you the tracking mechanism as it's actually happening. So if I go back to the requests tab right here, you can see it. At the beginning, this right here was open, right? It's no longer open, it's closed because I did that. I went through all the pieces of the puzzle. This landscape one down here, you can see that it's never been read because of this little envelope. I'm leaving this one there on purpose as a indicator for you. But this is a perfect tracking mechanism and an accountability piece for the management because we as managers could look at this system and say, nobody's reacted to that since October 14th. Again, I don't want to click into this because then this little envelope's going to go away. But I want to be able to show that if the manager does not look at these, or if nobody looks at it, it's going to be obvious that nobody read these. So if we're doing our job properly, you're submitting the requests, we are responding properly to those requests in a timely manner. The goal is within 24 hours, and you will know what's going on. Do keep in mind that although I might be showing this, or you might be seeing this on a tablet or a laptop computer or a desktop computer, you will be able to have all this functionality on the TownSq app on your phone. It'll all look the same. It just looks a little bit more condensed because the screens are smaller, but all this functionality you can see from your phone. So that's how you submit a request, and then you will also see when the manager reacts to it and responds to it, and then the status of it. Was it in progress? Was it closed out? And pictures could be attached to it as well. And you could also just break everything down by if you wanted to see what was happening for architectural review. In that category, there's nothing there. But you could go into architectural review and see what was specific to your unit, but not everybody. Because again, as a unit owner, you're only going to see what's pertinent to your individual unit. The board will see everything. Please do understand that if you ever see one of these little lock icons, that is not available to the public, meaning you, the unit owner, you're not going to be able to see that. That's going to be available just to the board and management. Again, that's more of your tracking mechanism, your to-do list as to what the association board has directed the manager to do. Think of that as a living to-do list, if you will. So that's the request tab. Moving into the messages tab. Well, if I wanted to send a message, and this is what it says right up here, if I wanted to send a message directly to a resident, an example would be a delivery notice. Maybe there's a fine coming. Who knows? It could be just about anything. But in this example, there's the categories are general. There's an inspection going on. There's an account document. Maybe there's a fine or a violation. Or maybe we received a package at the office. In this example, these are the alerts that the manager can send directly to you, the owner, specific to you. And it'll be tracked in your account homepage. I'm just going to click into this one so you can see what this alert was or this message was. And this was me creating a message about a year ago. And this one on May 30th of 2019, this was from me to me, right? And it's Paul, thanks for reminding me to bring the trash can in. I got so wrapped up with Jeopardy that I forgot to bring it in. I just brought it in. We'll be more diligent next time. Now, again, keep in mind that was what the message was to the unit owner. It was seen by me, and then I responded. So in this example, and again, these are all fake, but in this example, on May 30th, the message went out, and then on June 26th, there was the response. Okay? The reason for that, forget the big gap, it's just this is that tracking mechanism of when people did or did not respond. That's the messages tab. Going into forums. A forum, think of this as almost like a classified ad section, if you will, for your association. You can make general alerts or classified ads. In this example, I created a garage sale, okay? And there's even a comment. If the association has some sort of an agreement with any vendor, maybe there's power washing, there's going to be a discount on power washing that the association has negotiated on your behalf. That information will be sitting here. These are all just samples. You know, if you had bugs or beetles, those types of things. These are just simple examples here. But let's go into this garage sale so that you can see it, so what it would look like. Very, very simple. The garage sale was scheduled for tomorrow. Nothing spectacular, but garage sale, the one comment was great, see you tomorrow. If there was a picture, you could put a picture in there. But if I go back to the forum, into that actual tab, you might be asking yourself, well, that's great. How do I alert? How do I create one of these? Well, all you gotta do is create a topic. It's very, very simple. And then you go through, what do we wish to discuss? Ladies card. Let's do a ladies card game. It's going to be general. Does anybody want to play cards on the weekends? If you wanted it, you could attach something here. Totally up to you. You hit create topic, and there it is, all within about 5 seconds later. There it is, ladies card game. It is considered open because this is an open piece. This is an open alert, if you will, or an open question. And I clicked into it, and I'm just going to respond saying no thanks. I play golf. And then I hit send. Very, very simple. But again, just showing these as examples so you can understand the methodology and how this stuff works. Keep in mind, all these will be specific to your association. There you go. So that's the forum tab. Moving into polls. Now this is where the board has the ability to engage you, the unit owner, about kind of getting your own feedback. What can the board do? Or the board might be thinking of doing something and they want to get a little more feedback. And quite frankly, they want to be able to point to something that says, hey, look, we asked for unit owner feedback and we got it. And this is what helped us make our decisions. So in this example, if the association wanted to paint the clubhouse, they could put a poll up for the color of the clubhouse and give you some samples. Another fake association wanted to serve food at the 4th of July celebration at the clubhouse. So they wanted to know what they might want to serve, and they wanted to get everyone's feedback. This one that's open right now, and it's open from October to Christmas, October 14th to Christmas of this year. Let's say the pool furniture is in discussion to be changed. So in this example, two things are critical here. The board is alerting or asking everybody as a unit owner, what kind of furniture should they possibly consider to change at the pool? In this case, the options are wicker, plastic, wrought iron, and light fabric with cushions. But you'll notice that I can't click into any of these, right? This vote button is not active, and here's why. This is a fake account. All the voters must have one unit to be able to vote in a survey. If you don't have a unit, you can't vote in these things. Now, this has nothing to do with your elections. This is just sample information that has nothing to do with the governance of your association, meaning who's going to be on the board. This is the board asking you for your feedback about a certain thing. If this was a real association and I was a unit owner logged into the system, these options would be available. Then I would click vote, and literally, if I was a board member, I'd be able to see the results in real time. The survey is still open, right? It still goes to December 25th. I could close the survey right now if I chose to, but it will automatically close on December 25th. So that's a poll. That's how they're created. They're created very, very easily, ironically enough, by doing what? Well, it's already on the screen. It's this big button to create a survey. And literally, you just click in there, pick us up, what are we asking for? That's the title. You put your time frame in and you make some options. Maybe you put in 3 or 4 or 5 options, whatever it might be. You as the board have the ability to accept or deny votes from delinquent residents if that's something that you choose to do. But that's literally how you create the survey. Once it is created, an alert goes out on TownSq to the unit owners in the frequency that they have chosen. Remember, that's do not receive the individual, the daily digest, or the weekly digest, but they'll get an alert on that survey. It'll also show up on your home screen or home tab, that column, that would be right about here on the home page. This community piece is going to show your surveys. And in this example down here, changing the kind of furniture at the pool. That's where it was, and this is where it is. So they're all mixed together, meaning they're all connected if you're looking for certain things. Okay, we're going to pass over package control, access control, and shift logs. These typically are for your high-rises, high-rise condominiums, where you have specific safety or security issues. There will be a separate video tutorial on those, but they don't happen everywhere, so I'm not going to waste the time. What I will do is I want to touch on the reservations. So going into the reservations, you can see I just clicked into the word reservation, and I pulled down amenities, reservations, and reservations by dates. If your association has an amenity And in this case, I'm going to click in there, and I can make reservations for my community amenities according to their rules and availability. The board of directors establishes what those rules and availability can be, even if they choose to charge a fee to use those amenities. In this example, there's a basketball court, a clubhouse room, a tennis court 1, and a tennis court 2. The availability is all fixed, and there's a capacity limit. You can see right here, these are just the amenities. We're not actually making a reservation. I'll be showing that here in a second. But we could create a new amenity. We could edit the basketball court. We could say charge type. Maybe there's no fee. Maybe there's a deposit. Who knows? It could be a little bit of anything. But if the board has the ability to charge for that rental reservation, they could establish that there. They also could establish how many people could be on it. Does this reservation need approval? Does it have a term? Or if it's being closed? Let's say there's being work done on the basketball court, they could close the amenity altogether if they needed to. And then they could make kind of limitations, if you will, how far out in advance you could make a reservation, minimum notice, how often you could cancel, or when you could cancel it. So those are some parameters when you have an amenity. But in this example, this is just the amenity. We're not making any reservations. But if you're looking into this, you can see where my cursor is. You go into reservations and you go into my reservations. You don't have anything. So in this example, I don't have anything in here, but I want to book that clubhouse. I'm going to book the amenity. I'm just going to click book. And I have a choice. I want that clubhouse room. So I'm going to go into the clubhouse room. And just all I did was click clubhouse room. And you can see here on this side the parameters. Maximum capacity is 50. It's free. You can reserve it on any day, and the 2 days cancellation. That's the requirement that the board has set. Now this is being recorded on November 30th, so that's the day we're actually recording it. But November is over. If we go into December, why do I not have the ability to reserve any of these days? I can't do it. I can reserve the 4th, but I can't reserve the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. That's because there's a limitation. There's a framework of when you can and cannot make reservations. It can be adjusted, no problem at all, but in this example, it's being blocked because you can't make a reservation within 3 days. And cancellations are 2 days as well. But I want to reserve the clubhouse for Christmas, the day after Christmas. I just clicked on December 26th, and I have two choices, from 8 to 1 in the morning, or 8 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon, or 1 in the afternoon to 10 p.m. I'm going to click on that 1 to 10, and I'm just going to reserve it for me, reserving for Paul Petroulis, and it's just a family gathering. If I click reserve, everything is the same from 1 to 10. I'm going to reserve this the day after. It is free. There's no cost. I click reserve. And it was created successfully. Now I can see this. Now, in this example, it does need approval. The way that this fake account was set up, we're going to need to show that it needs to be approved. And this would be approved by, maybe it's your amenity committee. It might be approved by the manager themselves, or it might be a board member that has to go in. But you have blocked this opportunity in the calendar until it's been approved. So nobody else can go in and block this one or try and take it from you unless it's already been done, and then you'd only be on a waiting list. But in this example, it just hasn't been approved yet. If I go ahead and click approve, we're done. We're all good. Now I've got that all set and ready to go. If I go back into reservations, if I just look at amenities, I'm just trying to go back to show you You don't see anything here in Clubhouse Room because that's just a list of the amenities. But if I go into my reservations, if you just forgot if you did it or not, there it is. You can say, oh yes, I did reserve the Clubhouse Room on December 26th. So very, very simple how to do it in terms of reservations. This next tab, Documents, historically, other than your home screen and paying your bills through TownSq, the Documents tab is going to be the most highly used tab inside of TownSq. Any document that you're going to need to effectively live in your association, your governing documents, your budget, your minutes for your most recent board meetings, or for any board meetings, any notices, any amenity closures, if the pool is having maintenance work, all your financial reporting, violations, those types of things, architectural review documents. If you need a document, if you need to find a document, well, where do you think you might look inside of TownSq? Absolutely, you're going to look in the Documents tab. So if I click into that Documents tab, this is going to show, and do understand this is a fake account, this would show all the documents that are available. Very, very simple to use. Now, I'm going to add a document. Just going to add a fake one here. I'm going to call it a budget. I'm going to put it in this fake one is going to be a map of Florida. And I'm going to add this. So I created in the budget, and again, it's a fake one, obviously, but I created a budget document. So if this was your 2021 budget, if that's what it was, it would sit right here, right? And it would say the budget for 2020. Now, in this case, it's a map of Florida by county. That just happened to be what it was called. But if this was your minutes for the most recent board meeting, if this was an architectural review document, any of that quote unquote stuff, they're all going to sit right in here. You could search them out by the name. You could put in minutes. You could put in budget, and it's going to try and find it. There's nothing there. But you could also say it's map. Remember, it's called map because it's the name of the document. So this should pull up that document that has the map of Florida by county. There you go. Or if I typed in budget, I typed in that category, it should also pull up, whoops, and back to just the general listing of those documents. Again, all the documents that you are required by law to have available for you 24/7 are going to be loaded for your association in the Documents tab. This is where you're going to look quite a bit for all your documents. You can save yourself the time of making that phone call to the manager or talking to the board member when they're walking their dog, and you could say, I need that document, or I haven't seen the budget. You literally could go to the Documents tab and find those. Literally that simple. So we've gone through all these tabs. We've now gone down all the way through the Documents tab. That is about 95% of all the things that you're going to be seeing through TownSq. These other two pieces, assignments, this is what the manager, think of it again as an extended task list, what projects the manager might be working on. So in this case, we've got landscape bids, that's in progress. We're collecting 3 bids for the trash compactor. So when the manager can update this on a daily basis, if they're getting those bids, the board can go right into this and see where the manager is regarding landscape bids in this example. If you are a board member, please do feel free to tell the manager, put that into the assignments tab because you want to be able to see what the manager is doing. The purpose of this tab is accountability. Please feel free to use it. Feel free to force that manager into this activity because it will make your job easier. The questions will be answered before you ask them if we're doing our job properly. The other piece that I want to show as we wrap up this training session tutorial is reports. Now, this is only really going to be available to this is really only going to be available to board members. But the board members will be able to have access to and see information that's available to them on a real-time basis. From a financial perspective, this will always be delayed up until the last approved financial report. So it's not going to be real time as in today, but it will be real time as in the most recent approved report. There's a month to month comparison of the key financial metrics. That's your financial overview. There's an income and expense detail. You can see how you're spending toward the budget. You can also see as a board member right now today who's delinquent in the association, which unit owner still owes money to the association. And then there's also a directory for the owners along with the ledger, work order, and the covenant history. What that is, if I clicked into that directory tab, which is what I just did, as this loads in, you're going to see a list of who lives there. Remember, this is Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and Donald Duck. So as I clicked into the directory, they're all fake here, but in this example, here are your residents. This is who lives here. We've got Nancy Nugent at Maple Drive and Felipe Fukushima. We have all these are all fake. But if I just go in and click onto Georgia, this is Georgia, but I want to see, keep in mind, I'm looking at this from the perspective of a board member. The board member can see everything that's going on for that unit. You as the unit owner, you'll be able to see, the only one you'll see is yours, which is your ledger. If you have any architectural applications, if you have any violations, any inspection logs that are specific to your unit, and any work orders you have submitted, those will be available to you. That being said, we've gone through an awful lot of information here. TownSq is a tool that can be unbelievably valuable when used properly, can answer a lot of questions for you, can be unbelievably valuable when it comes to the communication of getting everybody the same message at the same time. I strongly suggest, if you are a unit owner and you're into TownSq and you're talking to a fellow neighbor who isn't, have them, maybe coach them along, give them the idea as to how valuable, but more importantly, how easy it is to navigate TownSq if they might be, let's just say, a little nervous when it comes to technology. The more people that get into TownSq, the better it will be for the entire community. Really, everybody will know what's going on that has logged into the system. If our managers with Associa Gulf Coast and your board are communicating properly, we can get information out to everybody in a timely manner, and it's the same message to everybody. We've all been in those board meetings where somebody heard one thing and somebody heard something else, and the next thing you know, a third version of whatever was told in that meeting pops up in the community. TownSq can rid you of that by giving everybody the same message at the same time. I really truly thank everybody's time we spent just a little bit over an hour talking about the value of TownSq and more importantly how to use it. But if you have any questions or concerns, please do feel free to reach out to your community manager, or you can reach out to the Associa front desk by phone at 727-577-2200. Feel free to reach out to any of the managers. You could reach out to me. My name is Paul Petroulis, the Business Development Director. I'll be more than happy to answer any TownSq questions you might have. But believe me, TownSq can be unbelievably valuable for your association, and the more people use it, the better it is for the entire group. Thank you very much for your time, everybody. Truly appreciate the opportunity to show you TownSq, the ease of use and how to use it. Again, if you remember, we've gone through a lot of information. We talked about news and events and change orders and all of that. If I scroll through here, we've gone through the profiles and the edits and the homepage and the groups and news and events and work orders, messages, forum, polls, reservations, documents, assignments, and even those financial reports for the board. All that stuff is available to you. Truly thank you for the opportunity to chat with you folks and give you some ideas as to how Associa Gulf Coast can help you using TownSq. Again, you have any questions or concerns, you have my contact information on the screen. Please do feel free to reach me or reach out to your manager. We're glad to help in any way we possibly can. Thank you very, very much for your time, everybody. Look forward to working with you in the future.